Satisfactory, a survival game with mediocre combat mechanics, virtually no storyline, and no real sense of direction for what you're trying to achieve. But somehow, even with all of this, the game scores a 97% positive review rate on Steam, and it is still considered to be one of the best survival games, perhaps not just survival games, but one of the best games overall that you can play right now. But how is this possible? Join me as we travel to an unknown and dangerous planet filled with aliens to discover the world of Satisfactory. Now, Satisfactory is set in a sprawling, extraterrestrial open world landscape, and you're commissioned to explore, exploit, and ultimately automate. Picture yourself a beautiful alien planet full of unique fauna, and vast unexplored terrain. That is Satisfactory's visual playground. The atmosphere of Satisfactory is an intriguing mix of serene and intense, and the game is oddly addictive once you start delving into the core gameplay. Now, the game takes a more grounded, industry-based approach compared to most other titles in the survival game genre. Forget the standard stuff of hunting, gathering, and trying to survive against starvation. This game is all about resource exploitation, logistics, and creating an efficient, sprawling industrial network. Now, the game revolves heavily on the day-to-day operation of your factory, and players will need to balance resource management, infrastructure design, and automating to ensure smooth operations. The game is as much about strategic planning and problem solving as it is about exploration and construction. Now, the game will not hold your hand. You'll be thrown into an alien world with nothing more than a few tools to keep you alive. And as you learn to tap into the wealth of resources around you and begin to carve out your industrial empire, you will soon discover that the world of Satisfactory is truly about efficiency. Now, the gameplay loop is an intriguing dance of exploration, resource gathering, factory building, and automation in an alien setting. The player, cast as a pioneering engineer, works for the Fixit Corporation, and you're tasked with constructing and automating a colossal industrial infrastructure on an unexplored planet. The gameplay loop begins modestly. You're only equipped with a few standard tools to protect you, and your initial steps are marked by reliance on a portable miner, which is a very basic tool that allows you to mine iron ore very slowly and not very efficient at all. And you then find yourself manually collecting the mined iron and converting into iron ingots. But as you settle into the rhythm of the game, the complexity escalates. You build automated miners that can extract resources continuously. You then have conveyor belts that bring them into play, that connect these various resources with your facilities, so all the crafting can become automatic. You have smelters, constructors, and assemblers spring up, and they each automate a different part of the manufacturing process. And your once modest operation transforms into a sprawling industrial complex. The progression from early to late game is a testament to the depth of Satisfactory's mechanics. From initial steps of manually generating and gathering and smelting resources, you advance to managing vast, multi-tiered factories, meticulously planning resource flow and optimizing production lines. And the early game survival and exploration gradually gives way to a more grandiose scheming of engineering, logistics, and architecture as you ascend the tech tree, where you gain access to more advanced structures like nuclear power and hypertube. Now, the storyline is very minimalistic. You're basically an engineer for the Fixit Corporation, and your objective is to exploit the planet and then build a massive space elevator for large-scale extraction operations. One of the best features in the game is the map. It is immense. It is a vast open world teeming with diverse biomes. You have towering waterfalls, deep caves, hidden areas waiting to be explored. And this isn't just for aesthetics. Exploration is a crucial part because expanding your search radius reveals new types of resources essential for advancing your technology. You might also stumble upon hard drives that contains blueprints for alternate recipes that can optimize your production line. Now, the world is not only vast horizontally but also vertically, and it will encourage you to make multi-level factories, which is very unique compared to most other games in this genre. Now, Satisfactory in its heart is a game of exploration, discovery, and most importantly, trial and error. The game doesn't really guide you or hold your hand or force you down a particular path. Instead, it gives you the basic tools, and the environment then leaves you to figure out the rest. The level of freedom is both the game's most significant challenge and also its most compelling feature. Satisfactory's difficulty is not traditionally structured compared to most other survival games. It doesn't have levels of enemies or bosses to defeat. Instead, the challenge lies in your ability to plan, manage, and optimize large-scale industrial operations. There's no right way to build your factory. It allows for a creative problem-solving experience that is as rewarding as it is challenging. Now, for newcomers, the game's complexity might seem a bit overwhelming initially, but once you grasp the basic mechanics, it becomes a thrilling and immersive experience. And trial and error plays a key role in the gameplay. Design the perfect factory layout, routing resources, and optimizing the flow all requires experimentation and iteration. It can be tempting to follow online guides or tutorials, but much of the game's charm actually lies in figuring out the solutions yourself. Now, Satisfactory Satisfactory does lean more towards the hardcore side, particularly due to its complex mechanics and extensive progression system. However, the game's serene pacing and lack of strict objectives offer a relaxing pace, making it quite enjoyable even for casual players to explore and learn the game in their own pace. Now, the early game in Satisfactory is ripe with exploration and the thrill of discovering new resources. It also entails a significant amount of trial and error, and you start with a basic portable miner and a crafting bench. And how you progress from there is entirely up to you. Now, this might lead to a few head starts, and you have to learn how to balance your resource input with your production output and build efficient conveyor systems. I've started over so many times because I feel like I messed up my beginning, even though you can always come back from it. Now, the world of Satisfactory is not only rich in resources, but also in dangers. There are quite a few hostile alien creatures that inhabit the lands, and it can be a bit scary at start because you don't really know how they work. But once you figure out how the combat system works, how the monsters fight, it is fairly easy and predictable, and it's clearly not a big focus point of the game. Now, one of the unique standout points of Satisfactory is the approach of factory building. Unlike other titles in this genre, Satisfactory isn't grid based. Now, this lack of grid allows for a tremendous amount of freedom in your designs, with the ability to place buildings and conveyor belts anywhere and at any angle. Another unique aspect is also the stunning 3D environment. The sense of scale as you gaze upon your sprawling factory is breathtaking. And you can spend so many hours, first of all, just creating a factory that runs efficiently. And then you can use double the time to try and make it aesthetically beautiful as well. And this also ties into the building system. It is robust and rewarding, and it works on a modular system where players use prefabricated building parts to create their structures. And you have access to an array of factories, generators, conveyor belt, pipes, and you also have a ton of different transport solutions for both you but also your resources. You have rail systems, vehicles, walkways, conveyor belts, and you have a lot of creative freedom. Now, the system is somewhat reminiscent of other base building games like Factorio, but with a significant difference, that is being a 3D. And you can truly create some really complex multi-level factories because of this. Now, the variety of building recipes in Satisfactory is impressive. As you progress through the game, you unlock new technologies and recipes through the milestone system, significantly expanding your building options. There are multiple tiers of conveyor belts, each becoming faster than the previous set, but of course it also requires more complex material. And this kind of progression is in every aspect of the building. You can unlock multiple different tiers of miners, smelters, crafters. So sometimes you have to set up massive systems if you want something really complex automated. Now, one of the best things about Satisfactory is that it allows you to play multiplayer, and it opens up a whole new level of enjoyment and strategic depth. Now, playing with other players can significantly speed up your progression, as tasks can be divided and accomplished simultaneously. So for instance, you have one player that might focus on mining and gathering, another on developing the factory, and yet another one on exploration and expanding your reach. Now, of course, this division of labor not only boosts in-game efficiency, but also allows each player to focus on what they enjoy most about the game. And you can truly create some unique memories together as you're watching your factory, aka your baby, grow up together, and you're slowly adding more and more complex parts to it. For a game that only costs $30, you are getting so much value. You can easily play this game for hundreds, if not thousands of hours, and you can play it over multiple different times, trying in different biomes, setting yourself challenges, and just the sheer quality of gameplay is amazing. Now, the graphics in Satisfactory is also truly immersive in the rich alien environment. The visual design of the game is incredibly detailed, from the lush greenery and sprawling vistas to the intricate machinery and massive factory you'll be constructing. It is indeed a visual feast, made even better by the dynamic day-night cycle that it paints the world in different shades and moods. The sound design is also top-notch, contributing significantly to the immersive experience. The ambient noise of the wildlife really makes you feel like on an alien planet. And of course, also the machinery sounds are realistic and satisfying, and the hum of the factory and the clatter of resources on conveyor belts become a symphony of productivity that's music to an engineer's ear. Moreover, the game's music is atmospheric and adaptive, adding tension or tranquility as required. Now, the game truly shines in its open-ended nature and depth of crafting and building and mechanics, and its awe-inspiring graphics. It is a sandbox survival game with a clear purpose and offers a sense of accomplishment when you see your massive automated factories running smoothly. Now, do bear in mind the game will have a bit of a steep learning curve. There isn't a so-called guide in the game. Of course, you could watch or read about it, but the game doesn't really hold your hand in terms of discovering how everything works. It is definitely a trial and error game. So in conclusion, I would say Satisfactory is one of the best games ever. It isn't a traditional survival game if you compare it to something like Green Hell, which has a very high focus on surviving, nutrition. This is definitely more of a builder. It's also very relaxed and chill. But the game is very complex and it continually pushes you to innovate and optimize. And the graphics and immersion is also incredible. And the game does a great job balancing between building the factory and exploring new parts of the map. And the game is truly a gem and you should not miss out. I would love to hear your thoughts on the game. Feel free to share them in the comments down below. Also, if you found this video useful, please hit the like button as it really helps out a small channel like this. It makes a huge difference, so thank you so much for doing that. Also, if you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you will also enjoy one of the videos on the screen now. So hop over there and check that out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.